Here we go. All right. Welcome back to A Days. I'm here with Gunnar Hellstrom. He is a graduate manager here for the Nebraska baseball team. He was a student assistant last year. He played baseball here for 4 years as a catcher. He's from Simi Valley, California. And yeah, today we're just going to get some insight into his experience as a player and now as a coach, and kind of what coaches are looking for nowadays. And so welcome, Gunnar. And to get us started, just talk to me about your baseball career and your recruiting process to kind of land you here at Nebraska.
Yeah, so you said it earlier. I'm originally from Simi Valley, California, which is about 40 minutes away from Los Angeles. And a little different experience than I've seen now being out in the Midwest. We play literally every day, all year round.
Yeah.
And you're probably in the same boat, you're from Texas, but when I was going through, we were playing high competitive baseball from an early age, since about 11, and we're starting to get into that perspective age, like middle school, 7th, 8th grade, and we were playing with guys that were committing to Division I schools as 8th graders, that are committing to USC, UCLA, and my parents didn't know anything. Like, I don't say they didn't know anything, but my dad wasn't a baseball guy. Mom loved baseball, but obviously didn't know anything about the process because they'd never been there before. And we thought I was late.
Really?
Like, all these guys were committed 8th grade freshman year, so we sat down, we're like, okay, we're going to go to individual school camps, because that was advice that one of my dad's coworkers actually had a son that went and played at San Diego, and he wrote like this huge book, but that's a different story. And so we went in, obviously, well, not obviously, we didn't talk about it yet, but my dad, his family's from Lincoln and Stromsburg, Nebraska, so we grew up diehard Husker fans. So he's like, all right, pick 3 schools and we're going to go to their team camp. And I came out sophomore year and ended up working out. They liked me. I performed well, and they came and watched me a couple more times and ended up committing right for my junior year. But it's different for everybody. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that are just so talented they don't need to go out and go to like a team camp or whatever. They're seen either at a big showcase, big tournament, or whatever it is. And I ended up realizing that I was actually early in the process too, and then I had more time than we thought originally. But yeah, so coming out to Nebraska from LA.
Good deal. So kind of, when did you have your first thought that you wanted to become a coach? And then going off of that, when did you actively decide to start pursuing coaching?
So we had the coronavirus that came out in 2020, and that was my junior year. And that was about the time where we're still growing up. Everyone wants to be a big leaguer, and everyone has aspirations of playing the big leagues. And I had a solid collegiate career my first 2 years, and junior year got cut up short, and then started coming up. It's like, okay, am I good enough? Is the want to there? Like, even if I got the shot, like to play, go through the minor league grind,
because we know it's a grind,
and not getting an opportunity to like play in the big leagues. Like, I could probably play professional baseball, pro ball, whatever it is, but probably not a big leaguer. And so I started thinking about coaching. Started planting seed there with the coaches and everything like that. And then my senior year, we had a great year, and we won the Big Ten and everything like that. And I was about done.
Really?
My body was done. My big catcher, and my role changed throughout my career. I caught a lot in the first 2 years, and then kind of going into junior, senior year, I couldn't really catch that much anymore. Maybe one full game in a weekend, or just pick up some innings. So when we had that conversation, I was like, I'm physically done, but my heart's still in it. And Coach Bolt and Coach Ravel were the ones that actually brought it up originally, like fully brought it up to me when we were having our exit meetings. Because I had, I don't know if you've talked to anybody about this, but the 5th year for COVID, for those guys that missed a year. So I was eligible to have a 5th year.
Okay.
And I went that year to start, and that's when I started the student assistant. So I still was getting my degree, and I was kind of getting my head start on my coaching career with the guys. So originally, the first thought was during COVID, because I knew I wanted to stay around the game. But then right when I was finished, the coaching staff actually brought it up to me first.
Okay.
So,
Sweet. Okay. So now kind of getting into your daily role as a coach, you work with the hitters, you work a little bit with the catchers. Describe kind of your daily routine, kind of maybe your philosophy as a coach, kind of what you're trying to teach the hitters. Just talk to me about your day-to-day process with the hitters and the catchers.
Yeah, so my role right now is I'm responsible for early work with the guys. So early work is kind of a way for our hitters to make sure that they're moving the right way, their approach is locked down, direction is locked down, and everything like that before we go to practice, whatever scrimmage, whatever it is. So from my philosophy, for that standpoint, obviously a lot of guys now you're seeing are focused on the swing, and I think guys that can move the bat the right way are going to be a lot more dynamic when it comes to actual team offense. So the big leagues in college are different in that perspective. I know there's the big leagues, everyone can hit for power, everyone can drive in runs. I think college, there's so many different types of players, and there's so many different types of ways to score runs, because each day, and you've been here for a year now, especially in the Midwest, ball flies out some days, and you can hit some weak home runs.
You got some wind gusts, 20 miles an hour.
Wind flies in sometimes. You hit balls 105 miles an hour that doesn't go anywhere. So I think from the base, it's important to be able to understand, one, the individual, how their body moves and how they can handle the bat, so their skill set and everything like that. So just like it's important to understand everyone's different, first of all. But so once they have their swing grooved out, I think from then we can actually go into team offense type stuff, what it means to put on plays, move runners over, actually manufacture runs. So I think that's the most important thing from what I've seen in my playing career and now year 3 of coaching, that you're not going to be able to out-hit every single team, every single game.
You got to do the small things
You got to do everything right. And it starts with being able to swing the bat the right way, in my opinion. I know there's been different things where guys focus on moving the bat too much and less on team execution versus a lot of team execution, and the swing doesn't matter. I think it's important to
kind of a healthy balance.
Make sure you're swinging the bat the right way, and make sure you know what our offense is all about.
All right, so where do you see yourself in the coaching world in the next 5 to 10 years?
So this will be my last year as the graduate manager. I'm hoping to move on and either start out with something like with what Connor's doing, Coach Barron's, either a player development type, ops type role, if an full-time assistant job isn't opened up. And obviously I want to stay at a 4-year university. I don't know if the division is that important to me right now, like staying Division I versus D2, whatever it is. I think I'm just more open just to keep coaching full-time. Whatever I can do to stay at the college level and get a full-time career from that.
Gotcha.
And I think eventually in 5 years I would want to be a recruiting coordinator at somewhere. But it's all changing now. All the coaches are turning out to be basically recruiting coordinators with all the new accountable coaches and all the new changes that are happening in Division I baseball. And I think that's going to keep changing. I think it's going to end up becoming five paid coaches in the future, or some sort of accountable staff members. So whatever it's player development, hitting development, whatever it is. But I want to stay the 4-year.
Okay,
for sure.
So you kind of talked about your desire to become a recruiting coordinator. Going off of that, the transfer portal, that's become big in the college landscape the past couple of years. The addition of that and the fact that COVID was a reality a couple of years ago. Talk to me about that. Like, as a coach, what are coaches looking for in the transfer portal? Are they really honing in on the JUCO player? Is it the grad player who has 4 years of experience? Tell me what coaches are looking for in terms of the transfer portal.
So in regard to the transfer portal, I would say junior college is its own separate deal.
Okay.
So I would say junior college is its own different realm, because that's we're actively recruiting guys that, one, have the experience, and one that also have the want to. So junior college guys usually are a little hungrier and want it because they had to go through that grind too, to be able to get to where they want to be. But the transfer portal, that's more of the guys coming from 4-year institutions, and now it's going to be starting to be a little different. When I originally started, it was still the COVID exemption type guys. So like we talked about with me, how I had the opportunity to play that 5th year. But now it's starting to become NIL related and stuff too, where guys aren't happy at their schools and there's no repercussions, and they're like, all right, I'm out, and I don't have to sit for a year. They get 1 year transfer. But this is also the last year of the COVID years, I would say, because now it's been 3 years where usually it's
filtering those guys out.
Yeah, and this will be the last year of it, but it'll be guys that played 4 years at their mid-major school, whatever, and performed well and want to move on to a bigger stage, or some younger guys that didn't get the opportunity to play. And I mean, you're an example of that coming from A&M, and we had the connection with you with Coach Childress. There's guys that we recruited out of high school that ended up going somewhere else and didn't get the opportunity, so we bring them back. But the biggest thing for us, for the transfer portal, is fitting a specific need. So whatever it may be, just like last year, whatever it is, we lose some pitchers or lose an outfielder. Say, for example, we lose our right fielder. All right, we want to bring in a guy that has the experience, and so bringing a fifth-year guy, and whether he's ready or not, and most of these guys, obviously, they have to perform in order for us to bring him in. But they could also fill some sort of leadership role to help either get the freshman going or whatever it is, junior college guy going, or a guy that's already been with the team that may a little extra kick. But I would say for us, the transfer portal is to fill in those gaps on specific needs.
Okay.
I think it's slowly starting to. It was the last couple of years, like everyone was so hard eyes with it just because it's the big and new thing. But I think it's still important to get your freshman class, to get your guys that you want that play the game the right way, that are all about the right things on campus, and have them.
Those homegrown guys,
Yep. And then get junior college guys, and talk about those tough guys that can start filling in those gaps, and then maybe 2 or 3 transfer portal guys that fill specific needs that we need on the team.
Right. So you are heavily involved with the camps here at Nebraska. I've had the opportunity to work a few camps. Kind of going off that recruiting piece, what are some of your advice for the high school athlete, the middle school athlete, in terms of attending prospect camps? Like, is that the way to go? Is it important to come to these prospect camps at the university, or should they go to like these perfect game or PBR tournaments? What's your insight into that?
So we actually talked about my recruiting process. Was I came out to our prospect camp, and I came out from California. The perfect game, PBR, all those camps, for me it was different playing, because those were all huge tournaments. Like, that was the opportunity for us to face that high level competition, whether it is Division I arms and stuff like that. But I would say for those guys that want to actively get recruited, they need to make sure that they're picking out their school's team camps, because that's a way that right away these players come in, whatever it is. We have 200 kids that come in. Every single member of the coaching staff is on the field and is actively have their eyes on them and seeing everything they need. And there for sure there's guys that get recruited just from one camp. I would say for the most part, a lot of the guys we have heard about from word of mouth, either invite or guys that I've also heard from word of mouth that just show up, just putting them in our ear. So we've seen them play in some regard, and we know kind of who they are. And we just, again, we want them hands-on, want them to also see our field, see our facilities and everything like that. But I would say for sure the biggest piece for younger athletes that want to get recruited, pick out those team camps that you want to go to.
Okay.
And if you're not really sure, the PBR, like all those type of camps, is good for the young guys, like the 8th grade freshmen, to kind of get their names out there first. And like I said, we'll see guys that we haven't really heard of pop up on PBR.
Yeah.
And then,
so it's kind of one before the other. Maybe I always tell guys, like, don't be so focused on like the showcases. Like, get yourself good first. If you're good enough, they're going to find you. And then, once you get to that place, okay, I'm good enough, maybe then coming to the prospect camp, putting yourself in front of, like you said, all the coaches are on the field, putting yourself in front of those coaches, then it starts to become real, right? Whereas you can get, committed to university.
100%.
So, that's really great insight. Really appreciate you coming on the show today and talking to me about it. And, we had some great insight from you about being a player, your own recruiting process, and then as well as your transition to becoming a coach. So thank you very much, and it's been an honor. Appreciate it, Gunner.